Caleb.
So please, again, already. So I also need you to pull out your calendar because when I met with faculty about the graduation presentations, we can do May 1st and 2nd. I'm so sorry, Jamie. You wanted the 3rd, I'm sorry. We can do May 1st and 2nd. So here's where I need to talk to you for a minute. If your teacher is not coming to the presentation, which I hope is about 15 of you, that will be May 1st from 2 to 4. Okay? If your teacher can come, that will be May 2nd from 4 to 6. Okay? So what I'm going to start asking for on my fancy chart here, it doesn't mean this is where you'll be, but Caleb is going to have people sort of, what I want to hear from you first while you're doing your survey is, if the teacher's not coming, this is May 1st between 2 and 4. Already I have Caleb's name down. Who else knows their teacher can't come? So you're going to look around and fill in these blocks, please. Okay. Yes, I know you can do it.
It's like defense.
She said can or can't come.
It's right now, there's
Our
a chance.
portfolio defense.
If you can come in the daytime.
Yes. Yes.
I just figured Amy. Caleb's, and we'll say the names out loud.
Can I come back twice for teacher?
Yes.
Did you get me, Caleb? So Caleb's gonna do a teacher thing and say the names out loud while he's breaking.
I'll leave at 3.
You want Krista to come, you want to contract to that with Stephen? Or do you want to do it?
No, I'm not gonna ask her to, she's so
I'm pretty sure,
Is it Taylor, what's my last name? Okay, and your teacher doesn't have to come. Or
8:30 to 3:30.
I just
It's
figured
like
out.
We're 7:15 to 2:15.
They've understood and looked into the science that says high school kids need to start. And plus, we need the buses. Because my kid could start
at
to
least ask you like
he gets there at 7:30 per day. And
That's more of ours. You gotta use the same schools to bring the kids in there.
that's an inquiry project.
Here's the names that we have so far, so stop talking for a minute. So on May 1st, the Tuesday between 2 and 4 so far, we have Caleb, Evan, Alexandria, Bethany, Jason, Emily, Logan, Job, Nella, Vivian, and Kimberly.
Make sure you put Bethany Bradley.
Oh, Bethany Bean.
Is the portfolio 5 minutes?
Bethany Bean. Oh, say it again. Oh, there's no times yet. This is just so I know if you're afternoon or
Q&A.
night.
That's the first or the second?
That's the first.
The first, okay.
And know that some of this could change when all of a sudden my faculty go, oh, I can't do it on the 1st, I need to do it. I'm trying very hard for this to be Tuesday the 1st, those names you just heard. Now, if your teacher can come, I have Emily Ann, who else? Teacher can come, so Caleb's gonna talk to me. It's Bethany Y, Brandon,
You raise your.
okay, that's
You need to do it on the second.
Tyler. Who else? Teacher can come, I'm nighttime.
Brittany said she's pretty sure.
Brittany, are you nighttime?
Yeah, but you can't do it.
Nighttime, Brittany?
So is it 4 to 6?
4 to 6?
Ish.
Ish.
Is it like you get a block between?
You'll have a half an hour between 4 and 6.
Okay, all right, cool. Because like I have to work.
My teacher can't come back to work, so.
Yeah, I'm samesies. My teacher's not gonna come anyway.
Okay,
But
so she needs to do the other day, sorry. The first. The day.
how did the dogs to keep it down?
We maybe turn that down or mute it.
Yep.
You got anything?
Okay, so let's count to 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
27
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops. 1, 2, 3,
Do I have to make comment?
7, 8, 9,
Yes.
10, 11, 12.
To say
When have you ever not made comments? You're
17,
good at it.
18, 19.
the comments are the most important part.
We don't know what he.
To say
I'm not
maybe
sure
this
if
class
she's
is a waste of time. We don't need to drop it.
If you're not sure, okay, nighttime.
No, I don't know. I haven't asked because I know.
So what?
So I was kind of
Can you text her?
Huh?
Was I, do you have to not?
No. And if you're at night, your teacher does not have to come.
Okay.
There is no requirement. Say that again.
I do the nighttime one.
Nighttime.
So if we, I'm gonna send a shoe check, so I would say May 2nd, 4 and 6, or 3,
if she wants to come to your graduation presentation. And if she says, and say, teachers do not have to come, I just want to make sure you know. Let's assume she can. Let's do daytime. They're gonna have to.
Yeah, but, well, I'm getting, because I'm starting my work.
Yep, so Bridget.
What are we doing?
Okay, so who Emily? I don't have your name anywhere.
Doing.
Oh. Joe, yep. So who's missing? Amanda's missing? Rachel's missing? Stephen, is she nice? She can do it at night? Okay. Because that'll be you and Adam. Rachel, Stephen, Adam. Who else? Jamie? I don't know. Caroline. Okay, it's just one. All right. Jamie, Adam, Stephen, Amanda, Rachel. Those are the people I'm waiting on. So we'll try to get some answers before class ends tonight, because then I can make the schedule and then you can have some confirmation. Yeah.
So the time allotment is like 4 to 6?
And you'll be half an hour in between that.
Okay, so we'll get like an actual time.
Yes. Oh, yes. But this is step 1 for you. This is the hardest one of mine.
Because this is like, what am I doing?
I hope it's at night, and then it'll be like 9:30 and I'll be like, so we're waiting to hear from Rachel, Stephen, Jamie.
That's why the British never joined the party. It's because they're like, we don't need your fucking comment.
Yes, done. Because you have class. Jamie, Stephen, Rachel. Okay, so we're going to count to see how many people are. All right, so thumbs up if you have done your survey for Jana.
Done.
Okay, that's fine. Sooner than later though, like before bed. Please, yeah, before bed. All right. Oh, we're only missing one?
Yeah, just understanding, it's like, hey, if you guys want civics, I can.
Is anybody missing tonight? Besides, so Brittany's here, I have her name down.
Like a shared Google Drive, are we all?
She's online.
Brittany's online. No, I mean, we're missing, we only have 26 people on
Or I
the
could
list.
just put it on a thumb drive.
Brett.
I don't want to upload
So
it.
Brett's our question.
I have a great for that tiny sources people. Hadn't
All right,
in it,
yes ma'am.
but I will.
It exists.
Anyone that
Can?
adds as well.
Okay, so Jamie is
If you
next.
just give me a thumb drive, I'll just upload
In the
it.
eye, Jamie is next.
All of them on the
I'm giving you civics. So give me a thing. And I'll
I don't.
Like she's not connected to me.
Okay, so back to me. So please finish your survey for Jana. And then I have to go through our agenda for tonight. We have a light night tonight. I'd like to start with our whip that's not a whip. Okay, so we had a great whip when you were not here, sorry.
Oh, of course. I watched it. It was great.
Now, we're going to start with, oh, Caleb's busy. We're going to start with Jason. So Mr. Barber, you're not busy. So Jason, here's our whip tonight. What's your word for your MAT year? Or what's going to go on your bumper sticker for your MAT? What's going to go on your MAT bumper sticker? Or what's your word for your entire MAT year?
I
Okay.
gotta think of something really else.
So, Jason Barber, please start us. Hell. Okay, hell is fair. So let's go. It's not your turn yet. Jesus is appropriate, but it's not your turn yet. So Rachel. Is that on your bumper sticker? Yeah. Okay, I'm just exhausted right now. I'm exhausted. I think we have to close the door.
You worked so hard to do it.
Okay, let's close the door. I don't want to. Is there anybody in class next door? That's what I don't want to. I don't want to bother anybody.
I've got a bunch of Spanish translations because of my Espanol estudiante.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So I don't want to bother anybody. All right. So we ended with Rachel. Adam, what is your word or your bumper sticker?
How do I get school bus?
Okay. Oh, it's cool. This is a bumper sticker that describes your year.
What does it
So
say?
it's either coming or going. Nice, 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 nice. Tyler, what's your word or what's your bumper sticker?
Resilient.
Resilient, nice. Is that gonna go on your bumper sticker or is it your word?
That's my word.
Okay, thank you. Emmeline,
Growth.
bumper sticker or word? What's your word? Growth, thank you. Amanda?
I'm changing my last name. I'm just gonna put that there so that no one knows what my last name is, because all I hear is Miss Sharp.
Oh, is that gonna go on your bumper sticker?
I can get it from my coworkers. They just call me.
So you need to tell me if this is your word or your bumper
This
sticker.
isn't a
I'm
whip
tired of
on
asking.
this thing.
Caleb,
Yes, ma'am.
prepare me bumper sticker.
Yeah, it's Alexander time.
It's Alexander time.
No, it's
Alexandria
Tired.
Oh! If I knew how to make a bumper sticker, we were in an Alexandria tired bumper sticker. Yeah, Alexandria tired.
Don't know what it means, but I like it.
So, Brett, what's yours? Bumper sticker or
I was
what?
going to say growth as well, but now I need a thesaurus. So English people tell me another word for growth.
Development.
Improved.
Progression.
Progression. Progression.
Development.
Progression.
Height.
I like that. Bridget, what is your word or bumper sticker?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Yeah, perseverance. That's good. That's good. Evan, prepare me for word or bumper sticker, because I don't want to ask you that. That could go on a
So
bumper
that's it
sticker.
right there, just not Jesus.
I would say choose your battles, maybe as a bumper sticker.
Ah, that's a great teacher bumper sticker. Like, we need to start a teacher bumper sticker store. Choose your battles. Nice. Nice. So also, remember the rule of the whip is you shouldn't have a choice. Because see how it makes it complicated? But I wanted to give you a choice because some people don't like the bumper sticker ride. So Vivian.
So mine's growth, and it would be my word.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Growth.
I had to call you.
And I love words being repeated. I think that's totally fine. It's purposeful repetition. So Brett, you can have growth back if you want it, unless you really like. I don't remember. Was Brett's progress?
Progression.
Progression. Okay. Thank you.
I gotta be.
Nella, what's your word or your bumper sticker?
My bumper sticker would be just keep the faith.
Thank you. Thank you. Jamie, what's yours?
Bumper
Spin
sticker.
that way.
It's a bumper sticker, and it's kind of my life motto almost. Everything happens for a reason.
And I do believe that. So thank you. Bethany?
Mine's a bumper sticker, and it'd be help, I'm always drowning.
Always.
Maybe a little person. Like,
Can Brittany here? Brittany, what's your word or bumper sticker?
Always. I like that one.
Again.
I guess I would do a bumper sticker that said, multitasking saved my life. I'm literally grating cheese for my dinner tonight while I'm on class.
So nice.
That's great. We're all grading cheese. It's so fair that she gets to eat and we don't.
Thank you, Brittany. Alexandria?
I guess mine would be a bumper sticker. And I would have two. One would say I'm tired. And then one would say, like, believe in your abilities.
Thank
Believe
you.
in yourself.
Yeah, Alexandria's could say, I'm me tired. You could say, I'm tired. That's good. Caroline?
Oh. I have two bumper stickers. One, you can ride the flaming bike. And two, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Oh, that's a good one. That was even said in her fancy meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Not my circus, not my monkeys. So that's good. That's good. Oh, have you heard "Not my circus, not my monkeys"? It's actually it's a proverb. I don't know where the proverb comes from, but it means so when you say to someone, "Not my circus, not my monkeys," I am not getting involved in your shit. It means I am stepping away from your shit because it is not mine. And so, "Not my circus, not my monkeys" is a nice way of saying, "Wow, you go you." But
Not me.
yeah, it is. It's one of my favorite sayings. Yeah. So, Bradward. Oh, Bethany thought of
I had
something.
another one, but it's one of your words I always think of you.
What?
And it's a vocab word this week for my students. Be unflappable.
Oh, that should be unflappable. Should be on my bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I think reading, writing, listening, speaking, and viewing should be on my bumper sticker. But be unflappable. Yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
The circus one also kind of reminded me of that meme with the dog on the picnic table, and everything around it's on fire, and he's just going, I'm fine.
Everything's fine, all's well. Yeah. Brad, word?
My word is prepared. My bumper sticker is don't pet a growling dog.
Okay, thank you. Devin?
It's common knowledge.
Mistakes are
Helpful.
like part of the learning process, so
Oh.
like you need them to learn.
Mistakes are, so here's Devin's bumper sticker. Mistakes are part of the learning process, you need them to learn. So Devin needs to have a nice big car.
I finished learning it. It's actually mistakes are accepted, expected, and respected as part of the learning process. But
Oh, I like
Those 2
that.
words.
I would like that as initials, and then you
Yeah.
would know what it meant. That's nice, thank you. Joe, what's your word or bumper sticker?
Finish strong.
Ah, nice, either one.
Need it right now.
Tomorrow, y'all, tomorrow. Unless you took a lateral entry job, then it's infinity. John Harris?
Controlled chaos.
Nice.
That's all this year's been.
Yes, for me as well. Brandon Jarvis?
I'm gonna go with growth as well.
Growth. Nice, thank you.
That's 3 words.
Yeah, it's a weird bumper sticker. It doesn't make any sense to
My
me.
word for Brandon would be his first journal where I said, anything else to add? Nah. I was like, nah. Bethany?
I think my word would be rewarding.
Ah, thank you. Rewarding. Kimberly?
Oh, bumper stickers. Those who say it can't be done should not interrupt the person doing it.
That's great. That made the hair on my arm stand up. That's awesome. Oh, that's great. And you explained your whole life this year. Yeah. Nice.
I didn't hear it.
So say it again, please.
That was really good.
Those who say it can't be done should not interrupt the person doing it.
Oh,
That's good. I know. I should sign my emails with that. So that's okay. So Stephen Parrish.
All right, bumper sticker. Laugh often, because if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
It's true. We should make these for the new MAT. Beware. Yeah. Logan.
I guess 2 bumper stickers because it's lifelong learner. And then I've always got my raincoat on. So that's a play on being resilient.
Oh, thank you.
I like that.
I was worried it was like a sex reference. I know, because it made me nervous. I got like sweaty.
You just made that so dirty.
I'm sorry. I'm like,
Raincoats are sexy, everyone. Come on.
It's a euphemism.
all right, so Emily, please rescue class.
It's on tape.
I almost thumped the back of his ear as my non-teaching example.
You should.
Okay.
He deserves
I
it.
think one of them would be listen more,
Oh, nice.
because that's I think the main thing I've learned from the students. Listen. Jason said it should be what do I do? Because I always ask that question to everyone. And that goes to listen more.
You did just ask me what's my word. What do I do?
What do I do?
Or it should be Tyler, what do I do? Yeah.
That's nice, because you never asked me. So,
You don't get the text.
But I tell you in the journal.
It's true. It is true. Yeah, the journals will be the thing I will miss from missing you. Because I feel like I've been in touch, like I feel like we've had a conversation between us every single week for the whole 16 weeks now. So I'm going to miss that. And it's interesting because there was what I loved about the journals was there's no like grading responsibility for the journals. Once Brandon stopped saying that and answering his answers with one word. But once that's like for me, I'm gonna miss them because I looked so forward to them to like hearing how you are, what's going on. Like Tyler sends me a panic journal and I'm like texting him like 10 minutes later, please tell me you're okay. And then he would even, I think you preemptively, because I was out of town, you said, you're gonna read my journal and you're gonna want to text me. I want you to know it's okay. I am okay.
Because I knew you would.
So like so he preempted, then I'm like, I better go read that journal right now. So I stopped what I was doing. So thank you, I'm gonna miss the journals. So if you ever feel the need to be like, let me tell you how I'm doing, just send me a text and say, I'm sending you an email with how I'm doing, because I will miss that. Inquiry projects. So I have a second slide after this. These are also in your email if you want to look at them while I'm talking. It's fine with me. Don't talk to me, it's crazy to talk while I'm talking. So Essays are 422, that's a Sunday. Earlier submissions are encouraged, I'm scanning them to make sure you don't sound crazy. And so that is what I'm doing. Too late. Too late, I know. But,
What if we do sound crazy?
scanning them to make sure you don't sound crazy. A couple of you said you'd like to see one, so I brought them on my computer tonight so you can look at some. So I anticipated finishing early. Janet made me nervous though because she was like talking. So those are 422, and it's your best attempt at your draft. Like, I don't want to see it if it doesn't have all the pieces. So don't send it Friday like, I'll be filling this in later. I want to make sure you're not crazy. So that's what 422 is for. And then you're presenting on 426 between 11 and 12:30. Everyone is going at that time. You're going to be in like 8 rooms simultaneously presenting.
So be here at 11.
So be here at 10:40. Sober.
It's Friday.
I get paid for that day, you know
The
that?
presentation goes until 30.
Yes.
And then we have lunch.
Did they?
Is it okay?
Will they?
Logan's asking a question.
If my inquiry project essay is written very eloquently, but contains some 5th grade charts.
Yes.
All right.
I love 5th grade
High school
charts.
scientists.
I would not have known they were 5th grade charts. I would have just called them charts. So they just would have been, right. So Amanda's like, will you mind if it's 5th grade Friday? I will not at all. I would also just call it screen. So, yeah, totally fine. So now, I do not review your PowerPoint. So I do not review your PowerPoint. So what I want us, there's a couple things I want you to know. Be here in Watson by 10:45. Let's pretend I said 10:30, 10:40, okay? So they start at 11, because the thing is they have to start on time and run simultaneously, so don't be late. The undergrads will already be here, because they have class from 9:30 to whatever. So I just didn't think you needed to come for class. I didn't warm it up with you. Yes?
Citations are in Chicago because it's
No,
the best.
sir. No, sir.
APA.
To Arabia, right?
Y'all need to check out Chicago, so that's much
No, sir.
And then,
LA.
will be fine with parking?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a Cindy Wiseman question. Let's assume parking will be fine. I'm gonna have her handle that. Yeah. So pretend like you're me. Say, hi Cindy, Cindy. Go ahead.
$2.
So if we turn our papers on 422, are you gonna like email us?
I'm gonna say, good to go.
Number 5.
You're not crazy.
Not to say you're crazy exists.
Yes.
This is horrendous.
Yes. It'll be like, I will say things like,
Give a thing.
your introduction didn't match what you talked about. Or I'll say things like that, like, you're good to go, you're fine. Or did you notice there were no 5th grade charts? So a 5th grade chart
I
might
can get my
help
wife to
when
make
you're
charts for you.
presenting
She
your
doesn't like
data.
it.
So, right, yes, Anna?
Speaking of 5th grade charts, so I did a survey with my kids on Google Forms, and so that provides like data in charts. I took a screenshot. That's great. And popped that in my paper. Is
Do
that
you also
fine?
talk about the chart?
Yes.
Excellent.
But is that fine just to have a screenshot of that? Okay.
And under that chart, you have, this is,
Yes.
you have a little caption.
Okay. I just didn't know if we had to do more than 8.
Totally perfect. Yes, sir.
This might be a little different than the inquiry project, I don't know. When's that time that we all come to campus and then we meet up and then leave for lunch after signing forms and stuff and then come back and do something?
That is this day, that is the
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
However you got your
Oh, so the inquiry project. And then you can go and eat lunch.
So I need you to do a couple of things on your calendar. I need you to set an alarm
Take
for
notes
like
this time.
10:15
Yeah.
that says go to Watson
Yeah,
with your inquiry project slides.
Okay.
Okay?
okay,
You present from 11 to 12:30
yeah.
and then you leave for lunch and then you come back at 2.
Oh, so that is that day.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
You come back actually at 1:45, so
How long do we have? Yeah. And then you sign the form.
hour and whatever, 12:30 to
Right, so
1:20.
that's-
Is this also the night of the
favorite
thing?
Yes!
Is that free?
But I have nothing to do with that. I wasn't even invited. I might crash your.
You can have my ticket.
Yes, sir.
The presentations are.
I'm going to show you that right now.
All right.
Okay.
We're just asking dumb questions.
I had nothing to do with it. I know. I said that last year. People. I know. Because if you have like a disengaged British
But you can come, like you can show me the you can say, I will come.
Come on, man,
Say,
let's go
I'm
teach
gonna
it.
get one teacher, so. But you need to tell
I
them.
never got my second observation in.
So,
Emily on like
does this look familiar?
Saturday night. I was like, I want you on.
Yes.
Say yes.
That looks like my teacher.
I feel like I wrote that.
Say yes. It's also in the right order. Remember I had the order wrong when I looked at it?
Oh, wait,
Yes.
this may be an annoying question. The formatting, is it supposed to literally say A, B, C, D?
Oh, great question. It doesn't have to say A, B, C, D, but you need to have headings. Evan, guess what? You have this as a PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know, I'm just like, you emailed it to us, or at least me. I don't know if that's you.
Brittany, you have this in your email right now, because I knew it'd be hard to look at.
We do.
Okay. So, you do have to use headings. Emily, they don't have to say A, but it does have to say introduction. Because when I'm scanning it, I'm going to be looking for every piece. And so, introduction, remember what that is, your lit review. Kimberly's is in, hurrah! So lit reviews are in. She would send an email, it's in! Implementation, what you did. Describe your data. That's where your charts and graphs go, Logan, okay? Remember, when you present your findings, you're not blah, blah, blah about them. You're not discussing your findings, you're presenting your findings. Some people discovered that their presentation findings, actually their shortest section. Because they were just like, here's my data. Now, your discussion of findings can also have 5th grade charts and graphs. Because you want to talk about something in more detail, you can do it there.
Could we
Yes.
just do like, put our charts and graphs and say like, figure 1A, figure 1.
Then you,
Why
so
do
for
you-
every
then
chart,
we
you must also have narrative.
So,
This
but
is
that's-
what this is showing.
Is it, but I, like, the way I, in my head and the way I set it up, is like, the presentation, like, my charts are here, and then in the discussion, I say, look at figure 1A, let's
No.
talk about.
No, that's too hard to read.
Okay, well then what is the purpose of,
So just, so presentation of findings is, here's all my information, or as much as I want to give you. Discussion of findings is choosing a few threads to talk about.
oh, I don't get it.
Okay, we'll keep talking, it's fine. It's like every science.
So your chart instead,
Results.
Just the results.
It's results.
But you're writing
Results,
Yeah.
conclusion.
Wait,
charts.
I'm gonna listen to Emily.
You have the data and the charts and everything. You're describing the data as well. So you have paragraphs, like you're writing them out, then there's a chart, and then you're writing more,
Yep.
and then there's a chart, and then you're
You're just not
discussing a
sharing
couple
your
of those.
opinion of them.
Okay, okay.
can I say presentation / discussion of findings in one thing instead?
No.
Okay, that doesn't.
No.
You need to be paid.
Presentation
So,
findings
are
is just,
mandatory?
this is what happened.
So I do think something visual is helpful.
Okay.
What do I do?
So you can think about that. They are not mandatory. I think they are helpful. They're not mandatory. So Evan asked a great question. Are 5th grade charts and graphs mandatory? No, but they are helpful.
Well, they
Proud of
work
myself, I don't want to graduate.
For you, Logan, they're mandatory.
Listen,
Logan needed charts and graphs.
how wrong does that have to be for me not to graduate?
I think
I'm very nervous, and this is not
No
my
one
thing.
has not graduated. No one,
And you're like our safety net to be like, you're crazy, change it.
no inquiry project has ever prevented a graduation.
Will you,
Except for it not existing.
when I submit it, can you just like super look at E and E and be like, this is wrong? Because I really
I
don't
bet I
get
won't
it.
say that, but, and I bet I bet we'll have a phone call.
Okay.
And you'll say, can we talk? So I like to talk instead of do all that typing.
I just don't.
You know what I think you need to do? Write it and then worry about it. I think you need to write it and then worry that it's wrong, which has sort of been our conversation since last day.
Okay.
So, yes. Questions? Okay, you have this in your email. This is the one you haven't really thought much about yet, though you've seen it. Okay, this is the one you haven't thought much about, though you've seen it. You will present for 20 minutes. So we'll pretend like Tyler's table is his presentation table. They're all by themselves in a room, and one person gets up at a time and presents his or her inquiry project. Okay? So you present for 20 minutes. You present your actual inquiry project for 10. That's about 5 slides. That's not required. That runs about 5 slides. If you do 6, no one will die. Okay? You could also have it match your sections.
if you want it. So, lit review is not super interesting as a slide. So you can, think about that.
Very good.
So 10 minutes runs about 5 slides. So you present your inquiry project for 10 minutes. There is a person in the room who has a sign that I made that says 2 minutes and then stop. So that you know how long you have to present for your 10 minutes. And then you come join them at the table and you lead a focused conversation about your project. What are your questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
So we need to facilitate a conversation with them, that's not them asking us questions?
It's them asking you questions.
So.
Can we lead it by saying any questions?
Okay.
But you're in charge.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that look like, I sit down and say, do you have any questions? And then if there are no questions, then there's still time in saying, well, a question you might have had, but I didn't hear.
I recommend preparing a question to get the ice broken.
Okay, that's okay.
I recommend preparing a question to get the ice broken.
She said,
I'm good.
If you were
Yes,
trained,
after the inquiry project, what do we do?
After the inquiry project, what do we do? That's a big question. Have
The
her.
Graduate?
presentation,
What do you mean?
I think the lunch thing and
No, she said that we present our inquiry project and then we
talk about it.
And then you sit down.
She's asking.
Then you sit down and you lead a conversation, questions and answers for 10 minutes.
About our inquiry project?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
just like easy.
Look, I was just about to be smarty pants and say about something else. No, about your inquiry project. Yes. And I chose not to because it's hard to be not there.
I thought I heard you say our content, so I thought.
Oh, no, your inquiry project. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, presentation easy, paper no. So, the paper goes to you on the 22nd, and you say, this is awful, where's your real product? And I go back and I work for a couple more days, and then it goes somewhere. I saw in Task Stream today that it goes into Task Stream somewhere, so from the
Evidence.
22nd, when you say change it and make it good, and I resubmit it and you say this is less bad,
You never have to
then what?
resubmit. Excellent question.
Oh.
After you
So I don't- so-
get the okay to go from me, you put it on your in your graduation portfolio.
So just like one of my third period students, you say make these changes, I say okay and just drop them right in Task Stream without the changes. And then
Well-
Cindy Wiseman looks at it and says this is crap, you're not graduating.
I don't think it would happen like that. She would say,
A little softer than
I
that,
need
but
you to come
yes.
sit in my office and
Okay.
look at John Harris's inquiry project,
Got it.
which has happened. So, because
John Harris?
no, but Cindy Wiseman traps me in her office about 3 days after this is all over and makes me do everything. And anything she has a question about, she flags.
That sounds like a fun day.
I hate to dominate, but I have to know, all this Task Stream stuff, does it end in this building or does it go to North Carolina?
It goes to DPI.
Okay.
And so it goes to
That's what I
DPI. But it is, what is their word for it? It's randomly sampled. So it's like a slot machine. It's randomly sampled. So a person, I think his last name is Soderbergh. Andy Soderbergh.
One person who's everybody.
But he's one person, and so, and interestingly, almost everyone in the state of North Carolina this year did a TPA pilot, so they're exhausted. There are less of you who had to do inquiry project. And my secret plan for next year is that you still do inquiry project even if you're doing a TPA. Because I think inquiry project's the best work we did.
Ooh, that sounds
Like, I
like
love
fun for
inquiry
them.
project. So I'm not willing to give that up yet. We'll see. I know, maybe some of us. So question.
So we get feedback from you, and if it's not good, we resubmit it to you?
Nope, I just trust that you did what I recommended.
Okay,
Just do it better.
we do the recommendations and then we put it.
Yep, I just trust that you, like some people put smiley faces where their citation should go.
What?
That's not okay.
And the
That's not
citation,
okay.
you're saying, good for a slide,
Oh, I gotta
don't
change mine.
put the lit
I think
review
you
on the
could, like,
slide.
let's say you could say when you, if you have a slide for your lit review, you could say, what does the literature say? Here are 2 quotes from my 2 favorite articles that taught me so much. That's how I would run that. But some people make a lit review slide that's like all words, and you're just miserable. So I choose wisely. Discernment is my bumper sticker for your inquiry project presentation. Yes, ma'am.
If we use specific strategies, like as part of our inquiry project, do we need to cite where we got our ideas from?
In your paper,
Yeah.
I would.
Okay.
I would. I think that's just helpful. I think anything, share all your sources. Great question. Emily Warren, what's your question?
The 2 things, within the essay, when we do the citations? I'm just used to Chicago for social studies.
Yeah.
Do we do, are the citations just in that section, or are they, like, do they go, where do they go?
Works cited.
Intertextual citations.
So they're within just that part of the
And then you
paper.
have a, is it bibliography or works cited for AP?
It's for just that part.
Right at the
The
very
second thing is, I took like an hour or two to sit down with Cindy Wiseman, and if any of you are like freaking out about task stream, I met with her for like 30 minutes, and she took care of everything, like to the point where all I have to do is literally submit inquiry and capstone. Like, she even checked my degree audit, so if you're worrying, like, if you take 30 minutes with her, she'll answer every question you have in person.
Or Emily and John will teach you everything they learned.
Yeah.
So that Cindy Wiseman's not like,
Yeah.
fire hose.
It's like, who the hell told them to come to my
I
office?
just did that today. Yes, yes.
So what I can promise you is for Cindy Wiseman, it's her pleasure to be part of making you less stressed. Truly, it's her pleasure to help with that. Yes, ma'am.
What is,
This too?
all these course numbers are really confusing. What was our leadership class from?
528.
Who taught
That's not this class.
We're 521.
Oh, excuse me.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
Tyler has a question.
Okay, random thing. So my inquiry project, I had an epiphany when you said this. So my inquiry project is about technology. So can my presentation incorporate technology to lead a segue into my discussion?
Sure.
Perfect.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, but the problem is technology is integrated, so it doesn't take any time.
If the manor lady says stop.
I got 10 minutes.
Yep. So yeah, you get to run your 10 minutes however you want. You don't even have to have a PowerPoint. I just know that that's how most people do it. So you can do a Prezi or a dance or a trifold board or science fair, you know, whatever you. What are your questions so I can move on? Any other questions? Oh, Emily has to pee, so hang on. Okay. What are your questions? Okay. Next thing. Let me look at the thing before. Yep. So next week, we're having a mocktail party. Okay? So next week, we're having a mocktail party. Our last class together is next week. It's next Tuesday. And we're having an inquiry project mocktail party in here. That means there's no alcohol. So,
But
they're mocktails. That means I go buy drinks and I go get ice and I bring snacks. And then anyone else who wants to bring snacks, bring snacks. And we just enjoy the evening. But there is a little job. So what you have to do is on an index card, I recommend you do this on an index card. You put what's your topic, what's your question, what were your data sources, and what discovery had the most impact on you. And then in cocktail party fashion, you have to share that with at least 4 different people at the party. So you have to work the room to get to people who don't know about your project and share your project with them. So that's the mocktail party next week. That's our end of the thing celebration. And it gives you a little bit of time. If you hear something you really like, you have time to change to adjust. So that's what that's for. So that's next week.
A little bit more about number 4, what discovery?
Yeah, what was the most powerful?
Would
Yeah.
it be like the general project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not a super interesting conversation.
This is like introduction.
If we were like having a drink. So what was the most interesting thing about your whole project?
Oh, so it could be something that's
Yeah.
inside or...
Super random. Yeah.
Can we like spike the funds now?
I will not spike them. And if Brittany can't come, she has to have her. So Brittany, if you can't be here next week, I can tell you what we did with Jean last year. We brought Jean in on the robot, and I stuck earbuds in it, and people all went and visited the person who's online and shared their project with that person. So it is possible to do this remotely. You still get to participate if you're remote. But the only person who gets to remote is Brittany Rose. What else are your questions?
I'm sick.
Number 3.
Come sick.
No, don't tell me that. No.
Please, number 3.
What were your data sources? I did a survey, I interviewed.
Next week.
Oh.
Coming to talk about.
So everybody listen for a second. Vivian just asked a great question. She thought number 3 meant talk about your lit review. I don't mean talk about your lit review. I mean, what did you use to study what you did. So I did a survey, I collected data, Logan could bring a picture of her charts and say, here's my charts. They're laminated and in frames.
How many data sources are we supposed to have?
One?
What number is that?
That's like 3. I can't do that.
You've not seen Inglourious Bastards?
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, three
You would
times.
have
What do you
said
mean?
3 glasses,
Sorry.
not 3 glasses.
So I did
murdered
survey,
Survey,
field, like notes, I wrote.
field
like, all
notes.
the-
What's your third? So that 3 data sources, this is not a surprise to anyone. Heads better be nodding in here because you knew 3 data sources the whole blankety blank time.
Wait, can you do
So-
like observation?
Oh, field notes.
We have to put our field notes
It can be
in.
soft data.
Field notes, student
We have to
surveys,
put our
and
field
grades.
notes in.
You would summarize what was important from them.
3 points of
A
data.
survey, there could be 2 surveys, pre and post.
I have like
There could be a reflection.
Okay, so I could do
Yep, so your
surveys
job is to
and-
talk to someone else, not me, about that.
Is it okay
She
to
just
do
like-
informal surveys?
Yep.
I
Sent you
like
mine.
talked to my class at the very beginning, I was like, what do you think, and blah, 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 and then back and forth, but I just like, how do you work it out?
But it's
I would recommend you write some stuff down. Some people have used that, especially when they were studying their practice. You find, I think, in the interjection.
Yeah, that's what Okay, so I have like 4 of them, like, cause I journal every day with them, so that.
But you need to be choosy. You have to say something, whatever you use for data, you have to say something about it. And to teach you something. What did your data teach you about?
Oh, honey, I did that.
What are your questions? Okay, hold on, yes, sir.
It's a movie.
The
Pause,
graduation,
stop talking.
the graduation portfolio
That's
defense.
next. That's next.
We wait on that.
Ready. I have questions.
Because I have talked to you everything I know, I tried to be very prepared for tonight.
I have questions.
So, I'm looking at Logan, yes.
Can we wait
For?
this, whatever's next?
Potty break?
For what? Can we take a break?
Logan has
Oh,
to
I'm
pee.
sorry, yes, let's take a break.
I meant like till next week.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Can we just take a
But do we need a break?
Yes.
7 minutes, someone said time. How many minutes? 7 minutes.
What the hell is this?
Be fast, enough time to be
That's good, what she's about to talk about.
Definitely Bradley shut the door. Is there another class like
The other Bradley, the other half of Bradley.
What, sir? Oh, the other Bradley. Benjamin Bradley and Bradley. Your last name came up on some of it, I'm like, I don't know
That was a
Yeah, you've done it. Dr. Smith was also the PD thing.
I played mine on your back wheel.
I submitted that.
You said slide out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the school, like, PD thing. Yeah, no, we had to put another document, like, cut and pasting in, and so I'm trying to figure out what that other one was. So that's all that shit I'm like, what it was. He said to do it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it as soon as I get home, and then I drank a beer and fell asleep. Because by the time I get home, it's fucking 10 o'clock.
I mean, that's just, this on the second. Yeah, this is the 529. That's what
So here's what you need. You need your email open, please, on your device, and you need a place to take notes that you're not gonna lose when you're sober.
Where's my pen, Brandon Jarvis?
I didn't take my pen.
Where's my pen, Brandon Jarvis?
So they have to go back to sober.
I love using your last name. They call everything
For a few years, I wasn't Jarvis. What were you? I was Brandon for a while.
but like high school, college, like Jarvis.
Oh, I should show, I'll show you a picture, he'll get mad at you, but Dr. Gill's daughter got married this past week.
High school
And I was gonna send y'all the picture, but I knew he'd get mad, but I'll show you the picture. Yeah, so I'll show you the picture, I almost sent it to everyone. You scan it? Logan doesn't know how to do anything with technology. No, Logan. Candidate initials at the bottom.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
High school change.
Okay.
It's
My
leadership
husband makes that
project.
joke when he thinks it's funny. I'll be like, nobody's listening. Everybody listen to Dr. O. So, before you turn in your certificate of teaching capacity, your initials must be at the bottom of the first 2 pages.
Okay, but mine got checked off in tax screen.
Evan.
I already had mine in.
You get like
Is that what we're asking? Wait, we need it scanned in.
Scanned in without my initials.
That's okay.
Scan it into your,
Cindy Wiseman doesn't need your initials, the state does.
okay, got it.
So I gave it to Dr. Gill without scanning. It's underneath his.
That's not good. So what that means is say, can Dr. O have your permission if you're not going to be at school tomorrow? Can Dr. O, so question 1, are you going to be at school tomorrow? If not, I forgot to scan my certificate. Can Dr. O have permission to give that for my What's it? He doesn't care. Certificate of teaching capacity.
Or you're demoing it. Look, I've got.
That's now the proposal?
It's not that, it's leadership.
Alright, so the only ones I need to scan, Stephen Parrish.
Yes.
You are? Or your supervisor. Well, I'm fancy.
I'll look at mine.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll do the best time.
That's mine.
Okay, so Dr. O,
I need your attention. Yes.
so does Dr. O have your permission to go in your office and grab my thing?
I put it under your door without scanning.
Okay.
Yeah, see what he says. I hope he says yes. And if he says no, I'll just. All right, so Steve, give me that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you? Logan will tell you what is wrong. Okay. Yes.
Those are technically due to
They're due like eventually. Like they're,
but it's
you
not
have
like
so much time. Oh, no. So certificate of teaching capacity ends up eventually in Logan, Sidbury, McKenna? Logan Knight's office. Okay. And she's the one who does all your paperwork. Okay. But for me, this is pressure for me because I'm a forgetter of things. Did you scan this already, sir? Yes. Okay, great.
I scan and upload it.
If you scan and upload, I just have to do Evans and Bridget's and I'll be fine. So you'll get a weird email, not from me, that comes from a scam.
Okay.
It'll say like SK blah blah blah. It's not spam. It's your thing. So you won't be prepared. I don't. It's fine. I do need your EDG 64 to do what? And then Bridget has to write her.
Your unit plan was from.
Great. Now it's time to pay attention. I'm all out of giving attention, so we're all
But I
done.
have one more.
Sorry.
This is a valid question.
Okay.
What do we do with our contact log and the,
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, but then I was told we needed to do something that I don't see on our syllabus, which was an outside of the classroom activities log.
What the heck are you talking about?
I don't know what that is.
Just to keep track of things that we did that were outside the classroom at our school.
Really?
That's neat.
That's neat.
Your assistant.
Really hope we're supposed to do that.
That's awesome.
Because I'm gonna lie if we have to do that. That's unethical.
BB Biscuit. Okay.
60%.
All right, so Kimberly, my unsatisfactory answer is I've never heard of that, and I don't know what you do with it.
What is it? One of the things that some of the supervisors said, like ours did, was just keep a track of the meetings and stuff for them, but it's not anything on task training. The thing on task training.
So it's just for her love of life.
Yeah, the communication log, and we're not gonna.
My sister's calling.
For data.
I thought you were doing that like you're.
I need to put it on Caroline and make her go right
That's
around.
what I'm
Oh, no. It buzzes when the phone rings. I don't know how to turn that off.
But anyway, that's, the communication log is the only thing that's in evidence.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Kimberly, it's shocking to me that David had you like keep track of that. Like that
No,
was a big
he
thing.
wasn't
Oh,
the one
okay.
that told me about that. Who told me about that?
If it wasn't me or him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, so you
If it wasn't he or I.
I already got your own, so it's here.
Yes, ma'am.
He was just saying, like set up like that.
On task training?
I'm gonna tell you about that in like 45 seconds.
Oh, good, okay. I was wondering, so what is she?
No, so she was making that up. She was.
That's crazy.
That would
She was making it up. Emily's now panicking. She doesn't have a thing. So Kimberly, look at Leanne and tell her that she doesn't need to.
I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So,
All right. What do you have to put on an index card before next week, or I will be mad at you?
Your mocktails.
Even more than mad, I'll be disappointed in you.
ooh.
So, get your hands on an index card, and this is what goes on the index card before you come to the mocktail
Hey,
party.
Brendan, don't worry about it. She's already.
I know,
Somebody sent out a group.
just like my mom.
That is for your psychology. Okay. So, there's that. Don't forget that. You have this in a PowerPoint already, as Evan is about to take another picture of it. So, but I imagine you check your pictures more than your emails. So it does make sense to take pictures of things to remember. I do that as well. Now, I'd like you to please pull up the PowerPoint that you have that says 2018 MAT Portfolio Conversation Process.
Is this like your nice way of introducing the capstone?
Yes.
Yes.
Or gentle way?
Yes. Well, we already had the gentle one. Remember that one?
Yeah.
This is the not gentle one. Oh.
This is the shit is coming up.
This is the one, maybe I should have given you a drink first.
This is.
We're talking.
Too late now.
Just had our drink.
Is there any more
Yeah,
beans left?
Nella said you just had a break.
No.
So, I missed. Okay. So what's now? These are held on the first and second. And before you leave tonight, if your name is not on the chart, Caleb and I were assembling. Stephen? Evening? Okay, so you add Stephen's name, he's a PH, not a B.
There's no more evening slots.
Add in one.
Or what about
The orange ones are weird, they're like black cherry.
Add in one. We fix it. I was just making boxes, yeah. Don't pay
Sorry,
the
Stephen.
I know, it's
You're not really. Okay, first and second. Okay. So, big picture, we're all gonna read this together. You're gonna describe your journey through the MAT program, and you're gonna take notes on the extemporaneous things that I say about this. Okay? So, was that fancy? My mouth was dry, so I was worried about saying it
I don't even know what that means.
Extra. Oh, funny, the opposite of extemporaneous.
You just made a word extra.
Extemporaneous.
Things I'm saying off the cuff, that's probably what you need to do as you're gonna
I've never heard that.
In teacher world, we call that patter, your teacher patter. So when you have major PowerPoint with just the bullets, your patter is all the stuff, the other stuff you say. That when you go like, hey, write this down. That's the extemporaneous.
I like that word.
So, describe your journey through the MAT program, including how and why you decided to become a teacher. This is generally a slide all by itself. This is generally a slide all by itself. Why am I here? So, hello, this is your introduction.
Just the first bullet is a slide?
The first bullet's a slide, generally. Now, I do need to say, maybe extemporaneously, all of these look different. These all become yours. So you make this yours. So please don't feel like you're in any sort of lockstep. You talk for about, and we'll say this in a minute, you talk for about 20 minutes, and then we have conversation for about 10, 15, 20,
and then we have conversation for about 10. So if you're planning on how long do I talk, think 15 and it'll be 20. Because you end up talking about your kids. So your personal and professional goals for the MAT program. This is also sometimes a slide all by itself. So not always, but sometimes. Use the North Carolina Professional Teaching Standards as a guide. This is incorporated. It is not a slide. Okay, so and there's going to be a link to the North Carolina Professional Teaching Standards in just a minute, just in case you are not as familiar with them as you'd like to be. Then you're going to choose 3 artifacts. There's my fancy 3 for Bethany, who knows that I can't do this kind of 3. Talk about 3 artifacts you believe represent your best, most interesting, or most challenging work during the MAT journey. Each one of those gets a slide. Each artifact gets a slide. 2 if you want it. You can use 2. Each artifact gets a slide, maybe 2. Talk about your future plans. Say thank you.
Dr.
Yes.
Could you rewind your teacher pattern back to personal and professional goals for MAT?
That's a slide all by itself. And what were your goals when you started?
Slide and goals.
What were your goals when you started? Okay.
Oh, not for like the program in the future.
Yeah.
Tell me what you mean.
So not for what do we think the MAT program should look like.
Oh, thank you. Your personal and professional goals when
In the
you entered
beginning.
the MAT program. And some people say, and I hit this one, or I'm still working on this one, like some people even comment on a couple of the goals.
And
Yes,
the
ma'am.
standards are a guide for the goals slide.
Nope, the standards are going to be incorporated into your artifacts.
Oh, okay,
They don't get their own slide.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a certain number of personal and professional goals you want us to talk about?
I think less is, I don't want to say less is more, like more
But you
than,
don't want a list of.
right, I'm
Yeah.
thinking 3, 4.
Yeah.
Because you only have 15 minutes to talk. Right.
Maybe 20.
So, or 20, Brandon. Okay?
I wrote 20 down.
No one tells you to stop talking until unless the 30 minutes have passed and we never have to talk to you. Tyler,
Do you want us to just like cite the teacher standards?
I'm going to show you what. Yep, it's coming up right now. Great question. Your 3 artifacts. 2 are from your task tree, and 1 is a free choice. And by free choice, Kimberly and I have even chatted about this. By free choice, we mean anything you want to use. Anything from your whole year is your free choice. It is a free choice. It could be a picture of your dog. Okay, it is a free choice. If you can answer the questions about it, it is yours. Okay?
I'm gonna bring in the
So-
pencil that they gave me today when I left.
Free choice can be anything, and I started to list all the gazillion things, and then I stopped. Yes.
Can we choose an assignment that, or a paper that we turned in a specific class and talk about that?
Was it during your MAT journey?
Yes, you didn't like that question. Yeah.
Free choice.
Was free choice? Yeah. Was it during your MAT journey? The parameters are from May till now. Or if you're John Harris, when did you start? If you started early,
2 years ago.
you can also use your early journey. Yes. And with Brandon.
You did a 1-year program?
You can put a picture. Maybe.
And guess who's not stressed about ESL right now?
Boom, what's up?
Okay, for each artifact, Caleb, okay, for each artifact, discuss its connection to you, to your work in the MAT, to the professional teaching standards, and your students. So, if you're going to talk about your inquiry project, in the middle of talking about it, you would say, and by the way, this hits standards 1, 2, and 4 because it speaks to all of these things. You don't want your presentation to be about the North Carolina professional standards, but you want to make it seem like you know what they are.
So we should learn what they are.
So the next slide has a link to that. So the next slide has a link to that. Also, when you talk about the artifacts, consider adding how might this artifact influence your future teaching. Emily Warren just shared with me about our inquiry project. It absolutely will influence her future teaching. So if she was recording herself, she would already have that one finished. Questions about artifacts? Do you have a question?
No, I don't know if I can help you with that.
Oh, yes. Caleb's out of gum, but Tyler needs gum.
the reason why I gave some.
Now, a couple of you have said, what goes on the task stream portfolio? Cindy Wiseman laughed when she looked at mine because mine's wrong, which I thought was funny. She said, Denise. But she corrected my errors. So I will share with you what my errors are, okay? And so who just spent an hour? So who just spent a whole bunch of time? Just Wiseman, John Harris. Somebody else did too. So
Emily.
Yeah, Emily. Okay. No, Emily Warren. Okay. So your breadth of, so when you say, what are the two things from which I can choose? So your breadth of content knowledge. No one has chosen their transcript or their praxis.
Oh, mine are really good though.
Sweet.
How I got a 200.
Studies for the wrong exam for 2 weeks.
Your unit plan is either the one you did in methods or the one you did for your first 2 weeks. Or other people have said, I decided to choose my favorite unit that I taught all year. No one has died. Okay, so it's fine. Classroom practice, this is where your scan of your certificate of teaching practice goes. You'll get an email from me that is a weird email. It says like skibbity dibbity doo. It's weird. Like, don't think it's spam, it's really neat. So.
That's so much more clear now.
I hope it says skibbity dibbity doo. It doesn't, but it's all these letters.
Now it makes sense.
If it doesn't, it should.
Your impact on student learning is your inquiry project. Paper and slides. Inquiry project is paper and slides.
Go on a test stream?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Attached to attachment?
Yes.
That was a separate thing. Being like, oh, this needs to be in one attachment, not 3. And I was like, sure.
Can you attach 2 things?
I'm mad about it.
It's because it was in the capacity form, not instead of.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is where I did this wrong. Leadership and collaboration, put an X through coaching plans. Cindy Wiseman said those do not go in your test stream portfolio, those go somewhere else. I don't know where. Somewhere important.
We don't
say
say
the
They went
same.
to Dr. Ward.
That night that she did that with us. Okay.
Yeah, we made a folio.
Are we supposed to share?
Do we share that with her?
You share with her,
Yeah.
because her minions,
And they probably
so Cindy Wiseman's minions, look at your certificate, look at your coaching plan records.
I think you're also.
That's under folios and web pages.
Yes.
And
Who wants to,
Go to your folios
whoever that was,
and web
Stephen, or is it Logan? Okay, so
Oh, you got it.
your communication log with names, with all identifying information removed. Up. You can't scan something that has student information on it. So other people have just either left a first initial and blacked it, like, and erased everything else. So, I'll ask her.
Okay.
But technically,
You broke the law.
you're supposed to do your best to take off identifying information.
You can recall
I
it.
think I've said it before.
You can. If you've already submitted it, you can recall it, change it, and
Do you
resubmit.
want me to ask her first?
You can, from TaskStream, yeah.
And I can also ask her.
I've already had to do this 3 times.
Then you know how to do it already. It's super easy.
And it will not be hard. That was lovely. Because I'm not feeling solution focused right now. Thank you.
He is in teacher mode.
That's awesome.
That's the classroom
Yes,
format,
ma'am.
yeah.
For the communication log, how would you like that formatted?
However you format it.
And is it okay if we don't have like a whole long?
This is why it's good that I'm not Dr. Separate.
Huh? No, it's separate.
He requires a search number.
I tried, but none of those phone numbers.
Yeah. An attempt counts.
Adam in that head.
I just told her to wait till she turns around.
You're the best. Or project. I did that in class because during reviews I like throw them Smarties.
So, you are best control. All right.
There isn't a way to.
Questions about this? Questions about this?
So just to clarify, this is just the stuff that has to be, submitted at some point.
When you open your test stream, there is a date. I wish I could tell you I knew what it was.
Okay.
So did she mention a date, John Harris?
She did not, but No.
soon?
No, she didn't say.
Yeah, sooner the better.
Isn't that part of that email they sent us about talking about?
After you all leave, everybody starts working.
Well, it also can't be done until, she did mention that it can't be done until like our inquiry projects and our graduation portfolio are done. So it's not like it has to be in tomorrow.
Didn't Logan email us about something?
No, that's online. Licensure.
Yeah, if your subscription's about to run out, make sure it doesn't run out before like May. So, yeah. Though Evelyn mentioned she has everything but a couple things. So that's nice. So, yes.
Should I email her because I can't recall it because
Yep,
I
just
already.
email her, say Dr. O, and blame me, say Dr. O was a little worried that there's identifying information on my communication log, are you worried about that? And if she says, no, honey, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Or she'll
Sure it's
say,
not the
whoops, I
first
should
time.
not have approved that.
Okay.
So, yep,
I'm sure it's happened before.
yes.
So for anything we submit as an evidence, should we request comments from Cindy Wiseman and from
She's
our
helpful.
supervisor?
Yeah, it's helpful to add Cindy to anything you want. You can add me or Ms. Wiseman to anything you want, and you can add your supervisor as well.
So who has to be added?
Tell me what it depends on the evidence.
Any
Task
of them?
stream says that we need to like link it up with somebody. And so
Yes,
I've
You
been
can
doing
always
this-
choose.
I've been doing what,
You
Cindy?
can always choose
Cindy.
Cindy Wiseman. Your safest bet is always Cindy Wiseman.
So it tells you choose your supervisor and it gives a list of names. Like if I choose you, it still automatically sends it to Ms. Wiseman.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's nice.
You can always see
Everything. That's
And
fantastic.
it's big.
This is why she locks me in her office that afternoon, so I'll
Watching you all day. Who's your supervisor?
because she'll go, ahem, I've been doing all of your checking off.
Yeah, that's
Okay, are you ready for me to turn the slide?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so clear.
There's the link to the North Carolina Professional Teaching Standards.
So I can see it for the first time ever.
Now, for each entry, a description of the choice, how you believe it meets the standards, and discuss what you learned from the process of using it.
Which entry?
Our three artifacts.
Your three artifacts.
You changed it.
Sorry. Sorry, I know. You think I'd be good at this by now. So we're going back. This is just, I guess it's the same direction said more clearly.
The portfolio or the three artifacts?
Each for each artifact. You describe what you did, what standard does it connect to, and then talk about it. How did it affect you, how did it affect your students?
Are we gonna assume they know the standards, so it can be like standard 2.5? So I have to do like the literacy standard of.
Or this is leadership, standard one lead. I thought this connected to standard one
Wait.
leadership.
So we're jumping back.
No, this is just the same instruction, more clear. I had to cobble like
Yes.
7 different portfolio presentations together into one that made the most sense. There's like 6 of these running around. And so the one I wanted to give you
Okay.
tonight was the one that I thought was the
task
most
group
clear.
is completely.
Oh my gosh. So I thought we were connecting this to like our student standards.
Not this.
Oh, this is not Common Core. This is
Clips.
leadership,
I'm sorry.
climate in your classroom. This is all those.
Yeah, no idea what the question is.
Click the link and you'll be shocked. They will look familiar.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is essentially what needs to go under each artifact.
On each slide.
On each slide.
Yep.
Okay.
And the part that is expanded is number 3.
That can't be true.
Okay.
This is where you talk about how it affected you, your students, what special thing do you want to say about it. And remember everything you learned from Selena about how to make a good PowerPoint presentation. Less is more on your slides, and what you say is what matters. Yes, ma'am.
Speaking about what we say, if we want to stay focused, can we have like a couple of little prompts on an index card?
Totally
You can
fine,
leave it
yeah.
for
Okay.
Many people bring in index cards.
Okay.
And some people get emotional, and so the index cards are nice.
Okay.
Some people just get a little overwhelmed at how they're feeling. And
Bradley's gonna
so they like having the index cards.
Okay, and the one that's our freebie,
I can't hear Kimberly.
the one that's our freebie,
You still say these things about it,
okay. Even if it's not something directly from the portfolio.
right?
Okay.
Your free choice must meet these 3 criteria.
Okay.
Can you describe it? Can you connect it to the North Carolina teaching standards? And can you talk about it? Yes, ma'am.
So these 3 things are only for the artifacts.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's the only thing we can connect the standards to.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at me teaching.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I've talked sometimes about the student who came in and said, you taught us nothing. Like she'd had a bad day and she came in and she said, you taught us nothing. And I was like, oh, it hurt my feelings at the time, but now I think I
still got friends.
And, yeah, I know, still have a job, still have a PhD on the wall, still there. So, some things to consider. Some things to consider. Consider the professional goals you had when you entered the program and if you've achieved them or if you're still working on them. Reflect on your internship experience and on your ability to work with colleagues, students, parents, and community. Summarize your understanding of the implications that the professional standards have on your practice. So when you talk about the standards, just don't say this is standard 2. Say a little bit about why. Just a little bit about why. And then consider the influence that self-care and the cohort, or solution focus, whatever you want to call what we did in here, consider the influence that that had and the cohort on your internship semester. That is also appropriate to talk about. Totally appropriate to talk about. That's where somebody shared that he sat in his car contemplating leaving many mornings until a member of his cohort drove up. And then he'd get out of the car. Like, he would contemplate going somewhere else.
If I don't see Emily in the room, I'm like, God, I'm not coming. So like, Emily's not here, I'm not here.
In your part 3. So all of this is sort of what goes, it's sort of what your conversation is about. These are just ideas. You don't necessarily have to say all of these things.
But like you've done our free artifacts, is this like after that?
No, this is included in those. These are just things to consider. These are things to consider during your presentation. Try to hit some of these. I think there's another slide, let me see. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No, go back. I missed one.
Don't vomit during your presentation.
Got it, notes. No. Put your phone down. It goes fast.
When I was having all those dizzy spells earlier this year, I was going to spell the first time.
Will Selena be one of the people that watches?
So I'm gonna be getting what time she has available and offering that to people to see. She's really so, Selena would appreciate your love and affection. Will has taken a real terrible turn, so she's having a hard time being at school. She has to be with him. It's fallen multiple times a day. It's hard. But he's 18 now. He's getting physical therapy. But Selena has a hard time coming to work because she is afraid of what could happen when she's home. So she wasn't available for either of these times, but she did say to me, if I send you sometimes I'm available, or she might WebEx in. So just she might show up on some of them, so she might be around. And because I think you mean the world to her. And so she doesn't want her absence to seem like it's because she doesn't care. It's just hard to be anywhere but home. She's trying to figure out how to work from home. So it's just scary right now. So anything about that? I'm moving slides. So after you present, talk for 15 to 17 minutes. Brandon Jarvis.
It gets lower every time.
There will be some questions. It's more like a conversation. It's not a defense. This is why Dr. Roseborough had us change the name. It used to be called Graduate MAT Defense. And she said it's not a defense, it's a conversation. And that's why the whole name of it was changed.
Defense sounds cool.
Keep a defense till
My defense. Yeah, you can tell me.
Sounds more official, like
Graduation
So if you want, I will put a note next to whoever's facilitating yours. Make it a defense.
Yeah,
Ask for a Yes.
I, this is kind of unrelated, but when I told my parents about the conversation, they told me about my brother's master's defense, and his professors actually tore his product apart.
Yeah.
And that is one of the professors actually had to like stop and be like, listen, this project's actually pretty good. Like, it was.
I think it's the dark side of academia, I would say. So when I did my dissertation defense, 3 of my committee members were from states and one of my committee members was from Britain and had been educated in Britain, and in Britain a defense means a defense. So if you've ever noticed when you work with Dr. Smith, he doesn't think he's doing his job unless he has given you feedback, which means you need to change this. That's cultural. And so, Handel Wright was the guy, he's actually from Africa, but he'd been educated in the British system. So during my dissertation defense, he tore me to shreds.
What?
Even though like the hour before he was like, this is so fantastic, I'm so proud of you, he went into defense mode. Like you must defend as if your like whole career depended on you being able to answer my questions. So he asked questions he didn't, like he knew the answers to, didn't even believe, like he made you defend it. Yeah, it's an interesting model. We don't use that.
My wife's
So,
defense was 90
and I see where its
minutes long.
purpose is, like it was hard, but yeah, I did defend it. Yeah, I passed. I got a PhD on the wall. I don't teach you anything. So, the committee will consist of 2 Watson people and maybe your partnership teacher. Okay, am I all done? Yeah.
He's got a game that's.
So, what are your questions?
What if I have some Watson people I don't know?
So I work incredibly hard to
Most of the
make
Watson
sure
people
one
I
of the
don't know.
Watson people is someone you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
So
awkward.
it's gonna have to be you.
I work really hard to make sure that happens.
I think your master's was 60 minutes.
That is us or there other,
Is that it?
MATs
We're the only ones who do that.
Yeah.
So what are your questions, so I know we're finished?
When do we know our time?
Oh, I'm gonna get cracking on it in the next, I would say 48 hours.
What's gonna get
For what? I'm gonna work on your time slots for the conversation.
Can we, because I'm working, can we request like, okay.
Yep, yes.
Will we know who's in there? Or-
Not till that night,
Quick break.
because it's so crazy.
No,
Yeah.
Email somebody.
I'm trying for Shelby, so I'm trying for Jeremy, they're just super busy. So, but I'm trying for them. And I'm even trying for Ginger. So, yeah, we want everybody represented. Questions? Now, you can't come ask me 100 questions after class ends.
Yes, we can.
What are your
Watson
questions?
people, not UNCW people?
Watson people. Now,
Like
some,
Mallow's not coming?
so some people have asked Dr. Mallow to come and he has. So you
I
can
need
tell
to
him when your time slot is and you can invite him to be your like +1.
Okay.
And so, yeah, people have done that. Because he really enjoys it. He enjoys it.
I miss him.
I know. Yes. What else? What are your other questions? So next week's the mocktail party. Okay.
Bring a note card to your
Bring a note card and maybe a snack. So all have drinks nice and snacks.
So now we're bringing.
If you want.
So now
I don't know, I heard she was.
I'm bringing snacks.
I spelled my name wrong.
So class is still at normal time.
Question, what was your dissertation on?
Oh, it's so funny. It was so long ago. I spent a year with 5 first-year English teachers, and it was the very first time people used discussion boards. And so, but the first day of my dissertation study was September 11th. So all my baby teachers had their first day of teaching was September 11th. It was in Tennessee. So they had to grow up fast. So, yeah, and they all had crazy experiences. One of them was sexually harassed by her department chair. One of them, she was African American and she had her hair. Do you know if I describe the like piece of cloth that matches your shirt? And the school resource officer told her to remove her turban in front of all the students, and she hadn't done her hair that day. So if any of you have good friends who are African American women, like that's a thing. And so her hair, it matched everything, and in front of all the kids, he told her to remove her turban. And she was like, no, and her teacher like lost her mind after it was over, but it all happened like, and she was a first year teacher. In Tennessee, MATs get paid like they're first year teachers. And so, but it's not a bed of roses, so I don't think it's great. But they don't have a partnership teacher. Like they have like a mentor, they teach. So it's like that. So that happened, one was sexually harassed, one's mother died. During the year we were together.
What a dissertation you would write.
One of them decided not to teach. But this is what's interesting. So it was the first time people were using discussion boards. They were just getting fancy and we had discussion boards. They didn't tell me any of that in writing. None of it happened until we were together. So we had 3 face-to-face meetings with the whole year. Everything else, because I had to see if communication on the discussion of work, and they didn't share anything until we were together. I didn't learn about the sexual harassment, I didn't learn about the turban, everything was like, we're great, things are good, all is well, everybody lied. Just like you do,
Some good stuff. though.
until you have, so I learned about.
There's a lot to write about.
I learned a lot about
Discussion boards are bullshit.
So then when we had our face-to-face meeting and we had a meal together, it was like, whatever, like.
You were like, wait, what?
I know, and they thought it would ruin my study. So they thought that
It made your study awesome.
like sexually harassing person, I would handle it differently now, I didn't do anything about it. And so she told me about him sexually harassing her, it was her department chair. She wanted a job at that school, and she didn't say a word, and she said she knew I would go, she thought I was gonna do something. And I don't think I would, I think I'd have been too, I don't know. So, but the turban incident, I'd have gone, and like, bitch with it. I know. So good night, thank you for asking that. Good night. And,
Do you have any questions?
yeah, Brittany.
All right. Go do great things. Be safe out there. We need to shut this off.
Brad, turn this off, Brad.
Do the thing with the button.
Make it not go on anymore.
Bye.